Well, of course, we've just celebrated His Majesty the King's birthday weekend, and we were very pleased to see that AseanAffairs, in fact, had dedicated the cover of their publication to Long Live the King. Very, very special edition, and just out in time for His Majesty's birthday. And of course, to talk about AseanAffairs, I'm very pleased to have Mr. Roy, founder and president, back with us today. Now, tell me, to actually get a cover for His Majesty the King, and then looking inside the publication, you've got information on him, His Majesty, as far as the inventor, the strength of the land, sufficiency economy. It's a difficult task, actually, to put together. There's so much to say. How do you confine that into this area?
We tried to portray on the cover, of course, His Majesty in his royal regalia, and then followed by inside we show His Majesty the working monarch, the working monarch. And then on the next page, if you see, we try to show his currently, he's convalescing at Sri Raj Hospital. And then we have the prolific inventor. His Majesty is indeed a prolific inventor with so many patents. His Majesty on the throne, and with the other two pictures showing him with the Emperor and Empress of Japan, and with Queen Elizabeth, with the royalty, other royalties of the world, with the royal families are very close. And then if you turn to the next page, it shows His Majesty as a very down-to-earth person playing the saxophone. There are snippets of his childhood with his family. They are cutting a birthday cake on the occasion of Her Royal Highness Princess Rindon. We talk about the royal projects. Even during the last few months that he has been in the hospital, he is working on the projects every single day.
You also went to Europe recently. You're in Germany because you were a moderator for a very special event. Was it EU-ASEAN type of meeting?
Right.
What did you find in Germany? I mean, we always hear that Germany's a huge investor here, that there's lots of opportunities, that their economy is going well, but we also hear that employees are losing their jobs. So what was your feeling in Germany?
Yeah, in Germany, as in any developed countries in the world, in the Western Hemisphere, US, Europe, for them Asia was important, but even now it becomes even more important. That was very clear because the event that you were mentioning I went to in Germany, in Berlin, was the Asia Pacific Weeks, which is held every 2 years. They have 150 events in just a span of 10 days. So the focus is on Asia and Pacific, how to do business in Asia, the cultural side, technology side. So my feeling, as I said, is very positive, and Germany is the leading nation in terms of the biggest economy of Europe and part of the European Union. So our cover story is dedicated to reshaping EU-ASEAN ties under the leadership of Angela Merkel, which is who is the Chancellor of Germany.
Going from one meeting to another, of course, APEC was on in November in Singapore, and I guess there we found that there was still a fear by the ASEAN nations that America was still rather protectionist, a bit different to George Bush. But Obama actually said, Obama said that yes, that was his views, but in a real world, things have to be different. Did he convince the ASEAN nations?
Not very much, because you have to look at, as you rightly pointed out, for whatever people's opinions are about George Bush, he was indeed pro-trade, free trade, pro-free trade. Okay, that is there on the. In fact, Najib Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, he said, the thing I liked about President Bush's foreign policy is that he was very pro-free trade. Now, Obama's trip to Asia was to redefine, we call it in our, if it's there in our magazine as well on the topic, re-engaging Asia, more balancing. However, as you know, there's something of a trade war has broken out between China and the US. US has accused China repeatedly and other nations of dumping,
including us, in fact. We're accused of dumping prawns, I think, shrimps.
So the real war is called the tire war, on tires from China are being dumped on US, and US has actually put up barriers against it. So the question people said, is Obama instinctively, maybe he's not pro-free trade? These are questions, okay? However, one thing was clear to be on the other side, on President Obama, this visit to Asia was historic. He is very keen and seriously, it's not only lip service, we understand, he seriously wants to engage ASEAN and Asia and rebalance the engagement.
Well, that's good news actually, because I mean we're a long way apart, despite the fact of Bush and talking about free trade. We're a million miles apart from the US at that point in time.
Yeah.
Let's hope that, I mean, Obama right at the beginning indicated before his election that he was not all for free trade, that there had to be restrictions and limitations.
Sure.
So I guess he hasn't changed his mind much, but actually coming out to the area, talking to people, I guess that he'll have a review of what is being talked about and what the potential is.
See, the fact on the ground is this: China, the US has lost. Okay, there is no category. The US has lost its dominance in ASEAN and Asia to China.
Sure.
A figure will point it out. China's trade with ASEAN has increased 20 times.
It's unbelievable. The figure,
1993 to currently to $179 billion China, and the US, which had its percentage share from 17%, it has fallen to 12% for US. So the figure is quite clear out there as to China versus US. So US has to regain its foothold.
Well, it's going to be exciting times ahead. It'll be a bit quiet during December, maybe, depending on the political scenarios. But January, what do you foresee? You know, it's also ASEAN becomes part of Vietnam takes over the
chairmanship, and then the 2010 is just a month away, and then they have just 5 years to reach the ASEAN economic community or the single market. Here is what I foresee. I was in my discussion with several partners. For example, I must tell you this: yesterday I was having a discussion with a research company, and this will be very surprising for your viewers to hear what I learned. And this is an HR consulting company. So their focus is on HR and human resource management. And they were in this motor show. He was in the motor show 2 days back. And he learned firsthand from many Japanese and German automotive manufacturing companies. The real problem right now is, you know what? Getting people. Because the people they laid off at the beginning of the year, now they have orders and they are in danger of not being able to fulfill it because they can't find people. So that in a way is good news, because I think 2010, this year was bad, but I think many of the efforts that were put on in 2009, the results will be visible in 2010.
Well, I hope you're right. Okay.
So let's end the year on a positive note.
I hope so. Thank you. We'll catch up with you in the new year. Thank you so much.